This is the next thing with the poker nicknames. So if you're asking me about poker nicknames, first of all, I won't disclose my poker nicknames for different reasons. But many reasons are also deception. But for those, I mean, I can tell you one thing. I didn't have one poker nickname because it's stupid as hell to have one poker nickname if you want to maximize your earnings. You don't have one poker nickname. You have, okay, so I had what? 45 poker nicknames. Whatever that is. Whatever brought me the action. So what you do is you sit at the stakes, or the highest stakes of every poker page. Of course, of every poker page. That maximizes you the action. Why should you stick on one poker page? Are you kidding me? I mean, of course you are represented on every poker site. Of course you are, yeah, because you take. There's not anything like too much action, because if you have too much action, you just select the best out of it. So you're sitting on every site, and some poker pages allowed you to have many screen names. That was also due to skins, so you could also change the skin. So what you did is, well, whenever you didn't get any more action, you just change your name, and then the people think you're a different one. And no, that was not cheating. That was what you could do, and everyone was aware of that. It was just that by doing that, you could conceal yourself. Yeah, and so yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you change your nickname whenever you didn't get any action, and maybe also tried to change your playing style. I know, it's very deceptive, and I didn't like this. This was one part I didn't like about it. That you also have to be permanently deceptive in order to maximize your earnings. It's silly, yeah? It's just silly if you think about it. But yeah, that was many stories, guys. There were fishes. And rich Chinese millionaires. They probably had many millions. So one story was that there was a poker site, unknown poker site, nobody played on it. But there was this fish with a lot of millions suddenly going on this poker site. So what did I do? I opened an account on this poker site, cashed in whatever, 300, 400k, and played against this fish and earned a lot of money there. But the thing is, the fish always came in a specific time frame. So of course you take track of these time frames. Yeah. So we are like, I had one guy working for me who checked this out, who basically tracked the behavior of other people. So yeah, that's many reasons why I don't continue to play poker. Yeah. So the one guy was basically tracking Durf's movements. Yeah, so he was saying whenever, for example, Dur sometimes played on a plane, and I'm not even kidding, he played from the crappy internet on the airplane. So what I did was the guy told me that Dur is sitting in the airplane now. I see that Dur is sitting on the table. So what do I do? Yes, of course. I mean, you play him. If he wants to play, it's his own decisions, right? It's his own decision. Just saying, nowadays I don't think that. Nowadays I think it's unethical. But back then, I was also a little bit younger, I was thinking, if Dur wants to play from the plane, and I play with a dedicated internet connection, yes, sure, why not play him? Yeah, of course, right? I mean, if somebody wants to play nosebleeds from the plane, let's just let him do his stuff, right? So, and there were also other stories when Dur was not sleeping for 30 hours straight and was still playing. Of course, there was also always information about that things. So back to this fish about the poker site. So his times were estimated between 2 and 6 a.m. But you never knew when he came, and obviously I was not awake the entire time. So what I did is and that's not even kidding. So I put a baby phone on the PC and one baby phone in my bedroom. Yeah. So and I had the tables open. So whenever somebody came on the table in the night, and that were usually only the fish because nobody of the other regulars wanted to play, it made beep, 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 very loud. So I was like this. And I also had auto post, and because I knew that the fish would leave. Auto post means you have roughly 30 seconds for your action, which meant, and this was 40k tables. So whenever in the night this guy came on the tables, I posted the $400 because I actually posted small band, so I posted $200, and I have 30 seconds from the sleep to run downstairs, get on the PC and play my hand. And a lot of those stories, yeah. And it might sound silly, but it may be not that silly if every time if it makes beep beep beep, you are 50 or 100k richer. Maybe then it makes some sense, right? But what I'm simply saying is, and one of you guys was also saying this in the chat. So what was this with the enslaving yourself for certain things, and whether this was not a little bit of enslaving as well? And yes, it was. It definitely was. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, maybe sometimes there is a small trade-off. Yeah. If you can say, okay, now I'm doing this, and for that I have some other possibilities in the future, then it might be different. I mean, that's about the perspective, right? So my perspective was, okay, if I do this now, maybe I never work in the bakery again, and or as a dishwasher, and somebody tells me what to do. Yeah, and that was my motivation. That was my motivation to do that, and it also worked out. So yes, maybe if you have some kind of this situation where you say, okay, maybe I'm doing this 2 or 3 years straight, and after that I'm financially settled, maybe you should do that. But what I'm telling about is, don't enslave yourself 20 years to get a bigger car, or forever, for eternity. Yeah, it's not, money is only something you need if you also use it for specific purposes. So for me, it was also the dream that I could use this money to be active also with companies, also pull some stuff, being a little bit also influencing the world in a specific way with also my ideas and the mindset, but also specifically also doing what I believe is the best or I'm the most passionate about. So it was basically a trade-off of freedom. So basically enslaving myself. It was not that I always didn't enjoy it. I also always enjoyed it a little bit. It's a game after all, and it's also very competitive. So it fits my nature. But what I'm saying is, I did this maybe the last 4 years I didn't enjoy it anymore, 100%. But the trade-off was basically, okay, 4 years of this for 40 years, 60 years of financial freedom, right? So, but what I'm saying is enslaving for items. So if it's not, if you might trade off 2 years of your freedom, yeah, in a little bit more agony and pain, and for that you have 20 years of free decision making, and you can just do the stuff you're passionate about. Well, maybe that might be a good trade-off. But what I'm telling you is, trading 10 or 20 years of your freedom for 10 or 20 years of bigger car, bigger house, whatever that is, don't do that. Okay, but yeah, whatever. No, Ferry is up. We play this. I heard something about this, but I will read it off stream. Enslaving yourself for 20 years is most of the time the only option you have in life. I see that you say that, and I also see that you put the only option in capital letters. Keep telling that to yourself forever. Seriously, I don't have words for that. Yeah, I know you're serious about that, and I also know that you're not trolling. I know that you believe this. Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Sure. I mean, the thing is, I don't even want to motivate you. I'm not a motivational coach. Keep telling that to yourself, right? I can just tell you it's not. But if you don't believe it, I don't have anything to gain from convincing you that it's not the case. Yeah. But if you think it's really, some people are just completely resilient. Some people are just completely resistant. Yeah. I mean, that's also one big part why I'm doing this stream, to show you that there is another way, right? Because the thing is, I could have also told you all of that with having no money at all, but you wouldn't believe me then. Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, if I wouldn't be financially successful, maybe even if I would have had my lucky shot in poker, but that's also Märchen again, yeah? That's also a fairy tale again, because poker was never that, yeah? It was always heavy dedication, heavy work, really, really heavy work, and analytical work, yeah? Very similar to what I do in Hearthstone, or at least what I did in Hearthstone the first 2 years, yeah? But that could have been the one-trick pony, right? But I was also very successful in standard things. Like the economy, sometimes, whatever. Maybe you don't take this stock success, because I also think that was a lot of luck. Maybe you take the real estate thing. I don't want to be too specific about the real estate thing, but there were a lot of things which achieved to get the edge. So I was not only buying and selling that straightly. I don't want to go into too much detail there, but yeah. So what I'm telling you is, well, and I'm also telling that to you because my upbringing and the entire thing, I was also thinking exactly the same. Yeah. And the perception simply changed because I saw a lot of things. So until I turned, I guess, 20 or something, I always believed exactly the same what you said. I always thought, I mean, what do you think? Do you think I would have worked as a dishwasher in the bakery or whatever if I would have thought there is a different way? I mean, to be honest, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, I just didn't even think about it. I was just thinking, okay, my perception about life, that's the truth, and this is how it is, and I cannot really achieve anything, so I can just also vanitas. Yeah, just living my life, enjoying it, drinking a lot of alcohol, a lot of booze, yeah, and smoking. I really didn't care because I never perceived myself as something valuable. Yeah, I was always thinking, okay, I mean, this is what life is, and that's it. Yeah, but this perception changed once I saw that it's completely not the case, and that my perception about the world is completely not what I thought it is. But exactly, I'm not saying exactly the opposite. But it's absolutely not, especially not nowadays, that you are forced into specific things. But it's rather that the world is a completely open space, and you can do pretty much whatever you like if you are just passionate enough about it. And chances that you already found the thing you would enjoy the most is very, very, very slim, simply because there are so many things to do nowadays. What I'm saying is, maybe 500 years ago, 500 years ago, it was not even that you might have been bounded to your job, but you was also bounded to the town. Yeah, maybe some lord owned you and could prevent you from leaving town. But welcome in the 21st century. Yeah, welcome in the 21st century. It's nowadays you don't even, in most of the countries, you don't even need to work for survival. I'm not advising to live from social welfare, but what I'm saying is this anxiety, this survival anxiety, should also be rationally, you should also be able to say, okay, if I want to do something I'm very passionate about, you should just do it. And now you might say, yeah, but I don't want to live from social welfare. What I'm saying is, maybe it's okay to live from social welfare if you really have this plan to do something else. Maybe it's okay to bridge these 2 or 3 or 4 months to just do what you're passionate about. Yeah, Schlagwort, yeah, not take social welfare, but you get the point. And if you now come with social responsibilities, which is probably the next thing, yeah, then I can also tell you that social responsibilities are usually very, very low money-wise, very low. Of course, it differs with the amount of children you have and so on, but usually, I mean, if you do the first step, which is only you, then the social responsibilities are that low, because yes, you can also live without the big cousin, yes, you can also live with no car, and yes, you can also live in a very small flat. Yes, you don't need that much. Yeah, and you can also go to the supermarket to buy your food. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and yes, okay, now you can say, okay, maybe you have a partnership, and maybe your social responsibility is now big. But no, it's not, guys. If you're passionate about something and your partner doesn't understand that well, maybe, and I don't want to be too radical about that, but maybe if your partner doesn't support you in doing what you want to do, what you're passionate about, not even realizing that you might have a shot, not even giving you the opportunity to try it out, maybe it's not the right partner. Next responsibility, and that's a little bit more grave, are children, kids. Yeah. So if you have kids, that's the first argument which I think might be viable, but also to an extent. So while I think, yes, this is the first real responsibility you have. If you have kids, you have a responsibility, and a lot of them, of those. But what is the responsibility? The responsibility is not buying them the best bike, the best car, the best watches, whatever. That's not your responsibility. The responsibility is that you bring them up and provide support as much as possible to bring them to a situation where they can actually flourish. So you nourish them so that they have the ability to flower like a flower, that they can blossom. Yeah. So you should do everything so they blossom. But you know what? Yes, money is not the fertilizer. Yeah. Yes, I agree that you need a specific amount of money to do. You cannot, kids is really an expectation. Yeah. You have responsibility, but what I'm saying is you don't need you don't need infinite amount of money to do that. But you need a small amount of money for doing that, small, whatever. I don't want to name a sum here, but if you have time, and you have time, probably if you're not earning that, you get the point, yeah? Your time or your support is way more important than the money in regards to your children. So I'm not also exactly sure whether that's a viable argument. Also, being a role model for your children. So I'm pretty sure role modeling, working in a job which you dislike, and yes, providing a little bit more money is worse for your children than working a job you're passionate about and earning a little bit less. Because your children will exactly role model that. And I don't know what kind of, yeah, you get the point. But I don't want to talk about that too much, because this is of course very controversial, and I also simplified it a lot. Yeah, might be that I'm a little bit polemic about it, a little bit, but this is only to bring the activation energy, to push the activation energy a little bit. Okay. And yes, easy for a multi-millionaire to say all of this. Of course, sure. Yes. And this is also why I do this stream, because yes, it would be very easy if I would have inherited all of this, but you would know what? The first 20 years of my life I was living definitely under average, way under average. Yeah. But whatever, yeah. My upbringing was not, I mean, yeah. You would probably call it ghetto if you would have an equivalent of that in Germany, but doesn't matter now. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was clear. That was clear. Some people always say, yeah, sure. I mean, some people just don't get it, right? Yeah, but that's okay. It's not a problem. What I'm saying is that's the question after I'm telling you all of what I just told you is very, very weak. But yeah, maybe whatever.